morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Market Check. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to leave that propaganda on the screen there. You guys weren't supposed to see that yet. We got myself, Will, and Jack is here this morning. Max is finishing up a video. Tommy should be here in a little bit. We'll see. He's got some stuff he's dealing with at home right now, but at any rate, we are here. We are live. We're going to have a good show. Oh, man. ETH is pumping, guys. Everything is pumping. How else would you like to start off your Monday morning? I don't know. Couldn't be
nice
me.
green dildo.
Yeah, man. Look at that. Look at that. So, big week. We got ETH Denver. We'll see how that goes. I know we've talked about it before as being somewhat bearish, but I mean, come on now. What are we even talking about here, right? So yeah, I mean, we can hop into the charts once again real quick, guys. Like and subscribe. You know I have to say it. It is what it is. So I'm gonna say it. Hit the like, hit the sub. But anyways, didn't want to give a huge monologue today, right? Just want to do briefly say all that. But what are you guys making of this Monday morning pump? Would love to hear.
Before we get started, and I'll let you cook, Jack, 'cause I know you got a lot to say this morning, but especially with these, so I'll give kudos where kudos due. Before we get started, if, and I'm talking YouTube specific, although we do love our Twitter folks, 100%. If we get to 100 likes, I'll give you an active position that I'm long in right now, live for everybody to see that we normally only give to the Giga Chats. I'll give it to you guys live here if we get to 100 likes. So there's a goal. Let's see if we can achieve it, and we'll give you the alpha. But go ahead, Jackets.
You guys heard it, man. So you want to hear that alpha. You want to hear that alpha during times like these, and it costs you nothing. Anyways, what do we think? Well, first of all, I gotta just appreciate the 35-minute time frame alpha that we can see on the chart, That's a lot
Few,
telling.
Jack, is few.
Few. But man, it looks like the exchanges just ran out of all their OTC tokens and just like, nope, guys, now you gotta buy from the open market. So no idea. But yeah, it's just confirming what we've been talking about, how freaking the bullish market is, how we expecting further upside, that the pause is only temporarily. ETH is just fucking chat. So yeah, very early in the cycle, people say that the sentiment is bullish. I get it, but that's just your eco bubble. That's what it is, because your average normie friend out there doesn't know about it. So when it comes to higher time frame cycles, the sentiment doesn't matter. And even if the sentiment was bullish, like kind of even outside, at the end of the day, what really matters on the higher time frame is whether the demand is exceeding supply, right? And you can get some, daily intra-week manipulation here and there, but if the demand is exceeding the supply, and this only works on higher time frame, obviously, then you're gonna get those moves regardless. And right now, that's what we are seeing. The demand is just way too huge, and there is not enough coins. We are heading into a supply squeeze, supply shock. So yeah, guys, we've been here every freaking single day, the past months, way ahead of the pump, and we've been trying to warn you. So those of you that's been with us, those guys should be printing, right? Those guys should be printing.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, this is what I said during our morning Giga Chad call. I was like, it was right before the New York Open, and I was like, guys, I think somebody's gonna take this dip personally, and you know who it is? It's this guy.
Jesus.
This is what just happened this morning, man.
Bro, I love
Yeah.
those posts. I love when he posts.
Man, it's really all these, TradFi. Well, I do not even know how to name these people, but they're all chasing BTC. It's a race to acquire as much BTC. And look at this guy. He's smiling because he just got to 100,000 of your Bitcoin, man. He's smiling. He understands the big game. The people don't.
Well, the thing is, Jack, is people keep talking about you guys are too euphoric. It's all too. Look, you want to know when euphoria sets in? When we're in here talking about multi-month, McDonald's hamburgers that have been sitting in the bottom of the dumpster, and we're like, "Hey, this looks like an opportunity." That's when euphoria set in. We haven't even gotten to euphoria yet. Like this is the start. This is Q1. You still got inning one. If we were in a baseball game, you still got three more coming. Like people just have no clue what is happening. Put Bitcoin on the monthly. Just put it on the decade, the 20 decade. Just put it
The
on there.
decade.
All right. Let's look at Bitcoin from this higher standpoint. Look at these freaking candles, guys. Like this this is your bearish thesis. This is bearish. I mean, I can't make it any more apparent for people, man. Like it's so obvious what's going on here.
I want the decade candle alpha chart.
Dude, yeah, you can prove it's bullish with 3 simple lines on the chart, man. Look at this. What else is there to say?
True. Like,
and you're exceeding it.
Yeah. Every time you get above that bear market shoulder, vertical. What do you think is gonna happen here? Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you got what, 3 days left in the month? Like, as long as you don't somehow do this, you're fine. Or even
people,
this. That
here's the thing. People want so badly for this to be the same as every cycle. But it's never the same. Cycles are never the same. They're always going to result differently in one way or another. The only similarities you're going to see is your bear market lows and your resistances coming back out of it. That's it. Everything else, extra dips, pandemic lows, those don't ever have to play out. They never have to happen. You just have to know when the market is flipped and understand that you're in the flip and you need to start bidding. That's it.
That's true. This is true.
And yeah, I think you nailed it there, Tucker, with those 3 lines. And yeah, for like, it's hard to find justification for anyone that's not positioned in the market. I mean, the only one I cannot find it, but I get it that some people just have the bear market PTSD, right? And it's just tough if they missed all this fun, because this bull market really came out of nowhere for most people. Not for us, of course, not for the BB audience here, right? They've seen it coming, but for everyone else out there, for most people, they like, even look at the equities, right? People just missed it until all-time highs.
Dude, I know.
Sorry, guys. I got kicked because Mexi sent me a notification telling me I was making too much money on these longs.
Mexi. There is no second best.
I just hope, Will, that it doesn't make the notification that, hey, we cannot fulfill your request of withdrawing the money from the exchange.
Yeah, that's a nightmare scenario, man.
We are running out of liquidity, sorry.
Pepe might do it, man.
Jesus, put on. Jesus.
Might do it? You mean will do it?
It will do it. It absolutely will do it.
Well, we'll do it.
There's your line in the sand.
There's no sand, there's no lines, there's only up.
It's only up. Let's move this a little bit.
No, it's really like wherever you look at, right? It's telling you that even if we were topping, for example, right? Let's hypothetically say, and something that I always kept on reminding, we are bullish until the market tells us otherwise, and that's what we've been doing, and it still is bullish. It's still not showing me anything. But even if, for example, we were heading to some top 6 months from now, you still want to wait for some sideways, some distribution, something, and nothing's telling me that that it's time to worry right now. So really just zoom out and do not overcomplicate this. Right now it's time to enjoy, to be honest.
Oh, for sure. Now is the time to enjoy.
You want to know my favorite things in these markets? My my
Tell
favorite
us.
thing is when people start to lose hope. Fifi, DYM is a cursed coin. Nowhere near Tia Power. Yeet in my bag for Zeta. Now I won't lie. I did jump out a lot on $8. I was kind of like, it's a pretty good stopping point right there. Um, and I was expecting a cooldown, but I would say like to yeet here. I don't know. I was looking to reaccumulate, somewheres in here. So I don't think that that's really the case for me. I mean, to each their own, but I would say, usually once you start feeling that sentiment towards I need to start exiting, at that point, you've now kind of been the bottom seller, right? At least in this market, and you're probably closer to a bottom than you are to a top. And so I know that there's a lot of feelings about DYM, just like there was about Jupe, just like there was about uh, Tia even, but Tia did do fairly well regardless, because of airdrops. But these coins prevail. They prevail through the airdrops. They prevail through the market, and they'll do well going into the next bull. It's all about performance at the end of the day and what you can get out of it. And so, rather than chase green candles, chase red ones. And I would say DYM is a pretty good setup. Could definitely go a little bit deeper, but a pretty good setup nonetheless.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I agree with you, Will, especially on two things that you mentioned, that whenever you start to get those feelings like, hey, I'm really frustrated here, hey, and sometimes you get those feelings, but you are still holding, and usually the moment like the feelings really get to you and you cannot take it any longer and you actually sell, is usually a time when not exactly it's going to pump straight from there. Sometimes it will, of course, but usually the rotation starts to take place around those levels. And I do still think that dime is, and I've been saying that I think it drops like this, but I've also been saying that I think it goes higher after, because it's probably going to follow that alt fractal, which I think it's doing right now. And another thing, well, just like you get those feelings, right, where you are frustrated with the asset, the same thing happens when it's going in your favor. And whenever you start like calculating your profits and what you're gonna buy with those, that's usually time to take, well, if not full profits, then at least partial profits. Because usually that's also the time when the market rotates against you, right? It's crazy how that works.
Yeah, if usually what I see, and I'll tell you the two sides. I see people asking, "Hey, how much higher do you think you can go?" When they're starting to question that it's hitting a resistance, which it probably is. And I see people talking about this thing's an underperformer. I'm out. Usually at the lows when you're probably at support. And again, this is not a bash, by the way, Fifi. I'm just telling you kind of like what I generally see. Right? Doesn't always mean it happens that way, but it's a generalization. And then in addition to that too, somebody brought up, they said, thank you for the soul, or the chat soul chat did very well. So for those of you who don't know, the soul chat that I threw out in our Discord, I believe came up to like a 10x or something like that in a matter of a couple weeks. So not too bad. And I think like a lot of people love that play, because here's the thing. The funny part is it wrecked people that got out early. It absolutely wrecked them because it flushed to the floor off the launch, completely threw everybody off. I told them hold into the play, just wait. and then it pretty much 10x off the floor. If you want to pull that up later, Tucker, when you get a chance, real project, but you don't have to right now. We can keep going on a TIA conversation, or not TIA, but DYM conversation if you want.
Well, we should. It was a good slip there. Well, we should talk about Tia as well, man. We should, because
I know what we are going to talk about today, because Wild Mugs has appeared and there's a demand for some Pepe charts.
Man, have they been asking for Pepe charts?
They've been.
I wonder
Pepe
why.
is looking great, man. It's a good
I wonder
setup.
why. And I also wonder who could have foreseen .e.
it's always a good question, Max. Who could have foreseen?
Dude, it's so crazy that I'm about to like retire off of Pepe, man. It's like I spend all this time trying to do like solid analysis and research, and it's like it's gonna be a frog coin, you know? It's crazy to me.
Imagine, guys, in like 50 years when we are the, just making a joke, but when we are the Warren Buffett of the future generations, and they ask like how you made your wealth, right? And Buffett was like, oh, you gotta invest in all those serious companies, make huge due diligence.
Yeah.
And then they ask Max like, how did you make your wealth? Oh, I just ate into a frog coin.
The meme was so good. The research I did, the meme, man, me and all of my internet friends bought a frog coin.
Community strong. Me press green button.
Yeah, right.
Green coin, green button.
I'll tell you this: the longer you guys take to get to 100 likes, the further and further away this position is getting from my entry. So I just want to be very clear about that. If you guys want to get that entry on that long position, I would definitely start hitting the like button, creating accounts, and hitting the like button more.
That's true. Just the reminder, guys, for anyone that wasn't here at the beginning, Will was saying that he is going to share some serious alpha, and the price for that is nothing but a free press of the like button, right? It costs nothing. So he's demanding 100 likes. He's going to share alpha. You want to hear it at times like these when things are volatile and very quick, and you gotta act quickly, right? So up to you, but you heard the man.
Yeah, guys, let's run this up. Let's run this up because Will's gonna cook. I got some Pepe stuff for you guys at the end because it's like it's kind of funny, right? It's like a meme coin, you know. But there's actually some incredible pairs on Pepe that I've been watching, and there's so much more that goes into it than just meme. You know, there's so much more that goes into it, and my analysis of it. I've been stalking this thing like a fucking psycho for over a year now, maybe about a year now. So I'm happy to share that. We got to run these numbers up, guys. We really do.
There was a actually interesting comment I want to address from Altpuck, and he was saying that making generational wealth of frog coins is giving end of civilization vibe. I'll take it while it lasts though, and I mean I kind of agree. I wouldn't say the end of civilization. We will eventually end up better than we are right now, but I get it. And I would say rather than end of civilization, I would rather say end of the fiat, right? Because that's basically fiat that's flooding the entire world system with just the largest shitcoins out there, right? Like even
Guys, we're pumping.
We're pumping.
53.5.
Dude, what is ETH doing? Go. Come on, ETH.
It's going.
It's going as well.
It's going. Yeah, it's going.
And soon it's going to be at 4K. Pretty quickly, rather.
Wow, man. We're really in a bull market, aren't we?
Yes.
Who could have foreseen?
Who could have foreseen? Who's been screaming it for like 4 months now, every single day? Who?
All of
not
us.
Capo.
Definitely not Capo. The BB boys were, though.
Where should we be looking at on ETH? Really just up here, huh? Who could have foreseen? Wow, this was on the chart.
Tucker, would you do a little bit of chart curating for me?
Yeah.
Put ETH next to Bitcoin, and let's talk about how ETH is lagging and where ETH is contextually compared to where Bitcoin was maybe a couple months ago. Because we still haven't gotten above that complacency shoulder yet.
What here?
Yeah.
That's how early we are still.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's real. You know, that's where I think that. So I mean, if we're trying to play a game of catch up, it's like, where are we? It's never going to be perfect, right? You know, it's never going to do the exact same, but the levels will end up playing. So
There is actually one interesting line I want to address on the ETH chart. If you can put on the weekly chart, Tucker, on ETH.
Yeah.
Once you're
I feel like
done
you are
cooking.
about to do this on ETH, though. Potentially. You know.
but that's after we take out the complacency shoulder. That's when that happened.
No.
Yes.
I'm saying you probably like here. You know.
Right. So
And
I'm
then you're
saying we
gonna
take
do
out
that.
we take out the 35.62 level and then reaccumulate.
No, but you didn't take it out till like, that would be the, you know what I mean? Like that would be the fraction.
We're gonna go all
That
the way
was
to
the shoulder.
3600. We're gonna swipe high and
You
then
see what I'm
deviate.
saying?
I see what you're saying.
It's not gonna do the same thing, obviously. But what did you, Jack? Is what the weekly?
Yeah, and I think there was actually one interesting line is that if you would like combine the candle closes from August, like it starts at August 21, and then you connect the next one at March 22, and then you extend it to the current thing. So start a high, like on the closing basis from August September 2021. Yeah, right there. No,
The highs,
one
the
to the
highs.
right.
They
This
draw
one?
the range high, like macro range high.
This
No,
one?
no,
Like
no,
right there.
no. I want a trend line. I want a trend line and connect it. Yeah.
To where?
You had it. You had it already. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Right.
interesting.
Anytime I explain it like that, Jackus, they always say that I don't know. I don't tell them where to
No,
go.
you
No,
don't give
Will,
dates,
no.
Will. You need to give dates.
We'll just go.
I didn't hear any
connect
dates
that
in that
line to the
conversation.
connect that line to that low right there, and you're like,
What low? What high? What line?
There's a lot of lows on the chart.
I like this, Jackus. I like this.
Yeah.
That's a Tucker Nachi line, Jackus. Very nice.
Yeah. Look at a breakout. It's like
Mhm.
poo.
I like
It's
to
like
go
boom,
down on the
headshot.
lower.
Does that even connect further left, Tucker? There's another high that you missed to the left. Does that connect as well?
Ethereum is absolutely ridiculous right now, bro. And all my ETH NFTs were worth every freaking penny. I'm so freaking happy right now, man. This is crazy.
Wait,
Did you guys already talk about the pandas and the puppets yet, or no?
Bro, like, do we even have to talk about it anymore? Like, it's so obvious, man. Like, people are just like, look at Karate Combat. Like, if you're not looking at that and like understanding what's going on here, I can't help you. I can't help you.
Well, dude, it's a sign of the times, right? So it's like there's clearly a demand heating up for risk right now. So you're starting to see things like Pepe, clearly blast off of the low and lead. You're seeing NFTs popping off across the board. That's a sign that things are just starting to heat up, and that appetite for risk on chain is beginning to come back slowly but surely. And I don't think it's a sign that it should be ignored. I really think people should acknowledge it, because over the weekend there was a clear shift, in my opinion. And I don't think we're going to be looking back. In my opinion, like risk, on-chain risk, just put in its bottom and just sort of broke out of its accumulation range. Like risk right now, you know how we talked about a lot of these projects like Link and then even ETH you're looking at here, they broke out of 550-day reaccumulation ranges. In my opinion, risk just did that. NFTs just put in their equivalent of breaking out of their like despair zones. Okay. So I think things are about to really just start heating up, guys. I do.
I mean, dude, Total 3 looks so good.
Max, I do have to ask the question though. What do you think about this morning's newsletter with the whole Tesla discussion against the Bitcoin halving? That's a pretty interesting one, right?
Tesla probably rips, man. I mean, look, it's one of those things where people, it's a hated rally. There's a lot of people that hate it. It's got a cult community. The chart actually, in my opinion, looks pretty good. I mean, it's very volatile, right? But I don't see why it doesn't continue ripping.
Yeah,
Unless
but
Elon passes away.
You got to get above this gap. Gotta. If this gap
here's
stuffs you again, you're just gonna roll over.
here's the interesting part, Tucker. Can you mark out all of Bitcoin's halvings on Tesla?
On Tesla.
Seriously, mark them all out on Tesla.
So what did we have? 20, and it was what, May?
It was May 20.
Yeah. And then 16 would have
It was
been
July of 2016, I think.
July, yeah.
You might have to put it in log, Tucker.
Yeah.
So we can see down there.
Does this go back to 12? Yeah, it does.
I think what was it?
I'm just gonna say like June.
November?
Was it November? Was that the one that
What was it? It was here, I'll pull it up quick on my end. It was no, sorry. It was July of 2016 and then November of 2012. November of 2012, yeah. That's interesting. And then the next one is in obviously April. I mean, let's hope we're right around there. That'd be pretty cool.
Bitcoin halvings on Tesla, man. It has more to do though with the liquidity cycles, of course, rather
For sure,
than the halvings.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the actual Bitcoin halving.
No.
This just proves that Bitcoin going up really has less to do with the Bitcoin halving, probably.
No,
honestly.
I refuse to accept that.
No, Max.
I refuse to accept that.
It's ratios. It's ratios. So it's not that halving doesn't matter, but it's more that liquidity cycles matter. But both matter.
Yes, exactly.
Well, the halving,
exactly it.
The halving matters half as much as each preceding halving, so it matters half as much as the last time, right?
That's true. That's
yeah,
true
but that's an oversimplified explanation or reason why it doesn't matter. No, on any given day,
that's true.
Your biggest seller of Bitcoin is going to be Bitcoin miners. Again, on any given day. So they need to sell Bitcoin. Bitcoin miners need to sell Bitcoin in order to subsidize their business expenses. They need to pay their electrical bill. They need to make payroll. They need maintenance on their rigs. They need a whole bunch of things, right? It's a very expensive operation. So when they're mining a digital commodity called Bitcoin, they must sell that commodity to the open market for US dollars in order to subsidize paying for their operation. So one day to the next, the potential available Bitcoin that they have to dump on the ask side of the book gets cut in half overnight. It's not a slow progression. It's April 21st to April 22nd of this year. Miners now have half of the amount of supply to dump on the open market. Okay. So if, again, miners don't sell every single day, but they are potentially your biggest seller on any given day. Okay.
Yeah, I want to bring
hang on.
I got a good point for you. Go ahead.
If demand remains constant, and selling gets cut in half potentially. I know that's not an accurate statement, but it's it's more of a parable, right? If the available Bitcoin hitting the open market gets cut in half and demand remains constant, economics 101, you get a parabola. It's that simple. The Bitcoin halving does matter for Bitcoin.
Okay, Max. So real quick, the miners, right? When they're selling Bitcoin, they're only selling it to subsidize their business, right? So they're gonna have less revenue, less profit. So they're gonna have to sell pretty much every penny they're mining. Yeah.
Look. Let's break down a few things real quick. I wanna kind of disrupt a few conversations going on in the comments. Holy shit! If we get 100 likes, Will is going to let us know a position he can dump on us. First off, Brandon C. Let me go ahead and kind of tear apart your whole conversation.
Well, you don't have to address that, man. He's trolling.
No. I'll be really fast. It's a leverage position, so I can't dump on anybody. First off, Second off, ask anybody in the BB Discord how many times they've gotten dumped on versus made money off my calls. Second off, can we rename the show to Fractal because Fractal, not sarcasm? Let me go ahead and see your charts and how many charts you post and how many predictions you've made correctly. Let's see it. Third off, most miners aren't selling actually, common disbelief. All miners are selling all the time, period. You're an idiot if you think otherwise. They're either selling the Bitcoin or
Well,
they're
you're
selling
well,
the stock. All right.
You're not wrong about what you're saying, but you don't have to address all these comments, man. Some people are just kind of goofing around, having a good time, man. You know, they're here, they're watching, they love the show, they like us, man. You know, you're good.
No, I
You're
mean
good.
it's always somebody on an alt account and trying to troll and thinking they're funny. Ha ha ha! I know so
That's
much
all right.
more.
They can troll, they can have fun. You know, that's fine. I get what you're saying though.
I
Like
don't need
it's
to listen to Matt Swan. I'll say that because Matt Swan hasn't pumped my bags like I have. Thanks, though.
Let's just say Will woke up slaying today.
Will cooked, man. Don't mess with Will, guys. You mess
I
with the
I
bull, you get the horns. All right.
I
I
hate
get
people that come
Will.
in and try and act like they are smarter than they actually are. Right? Made it past the 5th grade and think they've graduated college. It's absolutely mind boggling.
Listen, there is one advice for the audience. You don't try to troll Will, because he will just absolutely wreck you back. It's
Yeah,
just
man.
one
Go,
advice.
bro, like we literally make the best calls in the space, 100%. I have no doubt. I'll put my money on it. We make the best calls in the entire Twitter space, bro. Like go back and look at everything we have. Go back and look at our Discord. There ain't a person. All these other influencers, 100K, 200K, half a million. They can all come up and articulate very well, but that's not gonna make you money. Making you money is understanding the market for what it is.
Well, Will,
Yeah,
I
good
appreciate
points.
those thoughts, man. You were cooking, but let's get back
Hey,
to this. Yeah, go ahead, Jackus. Yeah,
you wanted to get back to the Bitcoin halvings?
yeah. I wanted to talk about the Bitcoin
Me too.
halving.
Me
Yeah,
too. Because
let's talk about
I
that.
wanted to add a few points there, but I wanted to let you guys finish your thoughts first. So I think we all agree that the BTC miners obviously cutting the supply in half matters. Like, because it's like, all of these aspects matter, but to some point, and then we have to address to what point each of these matter, right? So I think nobody's saying that halving doesn't matter, or like if he is, he's obviously trying to, simplify things and so forth. But as Tucker was saying, halving matters half as much as the past one. I do agree with that. And there is also a thing that's important, and that's that it's not like, you have a halving one day and then suddenly, you have half as much supply on that day. It's more like a gradual thing. Also, we have to keep in mind that lots of miners do hold their Bitcoins at the anticipation of the halving and at the anticipation of price going up. So they are holding for months usually before they decide to sell. And we've seen that, during the bear market as well. They've been holding lots of them for months, and then when price spiked to 31K, we've seen a huge outflow from the miners that had to cover some of their positions. So they sometimes do sell on the open market, and sometimes, we have to also take into account that they are probably selling directly to the exchanges OTC, right? It's not like they have to sell. I'm not talking about, your grandpa having a PC at his basement trying to mine BTC. I'm talking about the big miners. So they probably have some deals with the exchanges to get some an average rate too. Uh, I think what matters the most are the liquidity cycles and the general, world context. But halvings, the supply itself matters a lot too. Right now, it's getting squeezed so much from, all those NFTs, sorry, ETFs, from all those institutions. Plus, you have, you're gonna get the the halving supply squeeze as well. I think what we are just debating here is the magnitude that the halving itself puts, like what amount of impact the halving actually does versus all the other things we talk about. That's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're, I can't really get my head around the idea that it's just like completely a coincidence that after the Bitcoin halvings, I mean, it's there is definitely like a tie to, hang on, Bitcoin USD. Okay, so here's the bottom chart, guys. Here's global net liquidity. If that's what we're talking about, like liquidity matters more than the halvings. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I mean, there's been times, this is a prime example right here in 2016, where if you look at the chart, I mean, global net liquidity really didn't do too much. It ultimately went up towards the end, right? But Bitcoin can go up when global liquidity is dropping, right? Like, I think to write this off right here and say, well, if you just buy buy Bitcoin on literally the day of the halving, look at what's happened the past 3 times. I think it's a lot more. I think it's a lot more having to do with economics 101, supply and demand. Demand remains constant, if not actually increases. Available supply gets cut in half. It's like I just don't think it's coincidence that look what happens after every Bitcoin halving. I see more evidence to suggest that it's, again, economics, more economics 101 than it is a matter of global liquidity. And I think liquidity conditions need to be conducive to price appreciation and an asset that's still determined, by most to be considered risk. But this chart just kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, there's not much more to it, right? Especially on a monthly closing basis. We were looking at that before you hopped on. If you close a monthly above that shoulder, it's over. If you're bearish, it's completely over. So
Yeah, it's over.
because I mean, the monthly closes in 3 days. You technically still have time. Like, we had a swing fail in 2019. We had a swing fail in 2016. Yeah, 2016. So I mean, as long as you're not closing below 48K in the next 3 days, then you're good, honestly.
Yeah, the price is looking amazing. I still stand by the fact that, especially if you look at the halvings, right? So you look at the first one, you see 25 Bitcoins being cut. Right now it's only 3.1. And that just needs to be taken into account. That especially in the first phases, the halvings matters so much. But as we go into the next ones, I am telling you, we will see a cycle where it will do absolutely nothing over a halving. That again doesn't mean it doesn't matter, but it's just simply like I'm telling you, and you cannot tell anything 100%. So I'm talking 99.9999999999 that it simply won't be going every 4 years like this. Like that's never going to happen, and
Well,
that itself proves that the halvings won't be the ones sending the price. It's always about the overall context of the whole market. So it's like you're looking at vertical liquidity, interest rates, you're looking at the actual demand in the market itself, and you are looking at the halvings themselves too, obviously. But it's just uh, another part of the equation. It's not just like look at the halvings, don't look at anything else. It's
the thing
that's my take.
is, the thing is that I think a lot of people, and you definitely touched on this, Jackus, is liquidity cycles. You have to understand when stress has now become distress. You have to understand when vol drop has basically dropped to a dramatic low, that you're going to start to see money step in. When you have no sellers and you have no buyers, the market has to reverse, whether it's a high or whether it's a low. and at the low, Bitcoin had no sellers and it had no buyers. At the high of the previous cycle, 2021, it had plenty of buyers, but absolutely no sellers, right? And so somebody started stepping in and providing the sell side liquidity. And then you started to get that collapse or that major profit taking where, you started having people fumbling over top of each other to get out before they lost all the gains that they had created in the market. And this is what creates bear cycles essentially. Bear cycles are more, in my opinion, at least now, probably not previously in previous liquidity cycles. They're now more fabricated by the government than they are just created by the market. And I say that more through the printing and deleveraging of printing, through the interest rates and so on and so forth. That's how the government creates bear markets and or bull markets. They come in and systemically say, hey, we're going to start raising interest rates, creating a bearish sentiment around the market, or they come in and say, hey, we're going to start lowering interest rates, creating a more bullish sentiment around the market. Now, there's always the argument, and we've talked about this in the past, Max, where lowering interest rates can be dangerous, and a lot of people can be like, oh my gosh, well, we're going to get lowered rates. It's because something systemically is wrong. Yes, in a lot of cases that has been the case, but it's not going to always be the case. And I think nobody plays for the factor that it's not always going to be the case versus everybody trying to play in the same pool that it's going to be the case. And this has been kind of what's created this rally to the upside is that people are expecting a pullback and it never comes, right? It never comes because people are all in the same boat of, hey, we have to get a pullback. And because of that, the market continues to rise against all of that, rise against everybody's offside positions. There's a lot of people right now that are basically coming into this market. I mean, you could see it across the board. I pointed out a really good article that a guy wrote, basically talking about how the government is fictitiously propping this overall market, and they're making 89 cents on the dollar. And I was like, okay, I was like, but if you see that, why are you not playing on the side of the government? Because the government controls the
Hmm.
liquidity at the end of the day. For you to just simply say it means nothing. For if you truly understood it, you would be active in the market and be like, hey, I'm just playing the manipulation that's being played by the government.
Guys, we have our biggest our biggest YouTube audience ever. We got 143 people on YouTube. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, please consider liking, and also if you are new here, please consider subscribing. This is Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. We are live Monday through Friday at 10:55 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you guys so much for the support. Yeah, Will, you're right, man. I mean, I don't think that I have, and I mean, I'm 28 years old, right? I haven't been around for 5 cycles. I can't remember a time when I've seen so many people,
Wait, 5? There's only 4.
not just in Bitcoin, like legacy too. But I don't think I can remember a time when I've seen so many people preying on the market to go down. Like
Yeah.
hoping, praying, coping that it goes down.
Yeah.
I mean, I just lean on the technicals, guys. I mean, keep it as simple as possible. Let's just look at this chart quick. I got the Bitcoin halvings overlaid here. First halving, second halving, third halving, fourth halving's coming up. Bitcoin monthly RSI on the bottom. Look at what happens every time Bitcoin monthly RSI breaches 70. And by the way, within the next half of a week, when we get the March candle, Bitcoin monthly RSI will be over 70. Right now we're at like 68. We should gap up to like 72 this next month. So I've highlighted it here. I've drawn arrows. I'm making it as simple as possible. And every single time Bitcoin monthly RSI so far the past 3 times has broken above 70 on the monthly. Look at what's happened. We've had 330, 363, and 360 days until the next global top. So I'm fully expecting another year of, I mean, what do you want to call this? Like euphoria, mania, price exploration. I'm relying on all the technicals I can, and I'm refusing to fade them. But here's the chart, guys. It's as simple as this.
I mean, the way you've got that laid out there, Max, too, that would almost imply the double top thesis that happened in 2021, and not necessarily the full, euphoric blow off top that we've seen in previous cycles outside of 2021. And I would
Yeah, but
argue that that's more indicative of a market that's healthier than a market that's less healthy, right? The double tops. But go ahead, Jack, 'cause I know you want to jump in there.
Yeah. I want to also say that's what people forget. That what you can also get is just because price now is obviously way quicker than all those past cycles. What you can also get is, for example, a scenario where the price goes to like, I don't know, 120K, and then there is a bear market that just goes back, reaches all-time high, and then just goes to like 600K, whatever, right?
Yep.
And that's basically your gold during 2008 recession, where it had an ETF launch. It started to go up. Then during 2008, so like the ETF launch was like, and obviously it was gold, so it's taking way longer. But it happened like so the ETF launch was like 2005, 2006, not exactly sure. Then it started to rally a lot above new all-time highs. The 2008 recession came in, and what actually happened is that it just went, retested all-time highs, and continued its bull run. And that's what can happen with BTC here too, where like, and that's why I say that you just need to always look at, all of these indicators are very useful that we use, and we use the confluences and so forth. But at the end of the day, you always have to look at the overall context of the current market, right?
You should look at ETH 2-week RSI.
Yeah, and maybe
you.
maybe one last thing. Usually the best thing to do is play it left curve. So you look at that monthly RSI, for example, or it could be anything, and you say, hey, this is pretty bullish, I'm buying. And then you look at the right curve, you look at that RSI, but you look at also at everything else out there, and you see the same outcome. But what you don't want to do is be the mid curve and be like, hey, I'm waiting for the COVID dump to 20K.
Yeah.
That's what you don't want to do.
No, you don't want to do that. All right, got it up for you, Tucker.
I mean, what are we talking about here? Look at this thing. Like, if you draw horizontal at whatever level we're at right now,
that's like ETH at $300. Legit, the RSI.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm looking at it basically like right here. So
yeah,
let's draw this out here. I'll make this a little thicker. I think that basically where we're at right now is right here, guys. So this was your range high, and then we just recently got back above this swing fail. I think that you're essentially like right here on ETH. All right. And that would kind of line up with this 2-week RSI as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just right around here. We're just doing the same thing again, guys, right here. And it's funny that even like the TD9 or TD sequential indicator had the exact same prints as well as right around here. So yeah, I mean, it's everyone's like, oh, 2-week RSI is overextended, right? We're at 73. It peaked out last cycle at 94, and when that happened, even when it started to move down, ETH still went up. Until we actually peaked, assuming we're right here. The next 180 days we went up 700%.
That's 20K. I forwarded that measure today.
25K. I'm kind of and I know, Jack, is maybe you and I would disagree on this. I'm kind of a believer in like diminishing returns, both, to the upside and then I guess reduce volatility to the downside. I would kind of expect ETH to not give the same returns as last cycle. I hope I'm wrong. It would benefit me to be wrong, but I don't really see 25K happening. I could see like 15K,
So I have two things to that. Again, I will go to what I said before. By the way, we are crossing 200 people live, which is amazing. All right.
This is our biggest YouTube audience. We got 157 people on YouTube. Real quick, Jack, save your point. I gotta request a favor from everybody. Guys, please like the content. We're here for free. We're pushing this alpha on a daily basis. Do us a solid. Hit that thumbs up button for us, guys. Thank you so much. And if you're new here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're putting out content every single day, and this is our daily live YouTube show where we basically just drop alpha on you guys. And the Twitter crowd, the X crowd, you guys have been killing it as well. We got 45 people watching on Twitter. You guys have this cool feature where you don't just have to, you can't just like it. You can also retweet. A retweet is like 5 likes, guys. You've been killing it lately. So please share the content, guys. Help spread the good word. We're out here trying to help as much as we possibly can and be a guiding light for you all as we enter this next phase of the market. So please consider liking, subscribing, and if you're on X, please consider retweeting, guys. But huge audience today. I mean, we got 200 people watching between both X and YouTube. That's our biggest audience ever. So thank you, guys. Seriously, it's humbling. But Jackus, please go ahead. I just had to seize the opportunity. Go ahead.
I seized it well, man. And remember when we talked about like when we had, I don't know, like 50 people watching, and I told you it will start to go exponential, and then we will be jumping from 200 to 300 in a matter of maybe months. Then it will be weeks to cross the next 100, and that's the power of the exponentials, which is sometimes harder for people. And I know you understand it, but for lots of people, it's hard to grasp that mechanism. And anyways, going to the chart and to the points of diminishing return. So first of all, would I see a huge difference, especially on ease here? The chart you have here, right here. So if you look at the past cycle, there was a huge difference in the way it played out. And it was basically a giant range that made a lower high and lower low on this 2 weekly chart. Even if you put the monthly on during the COVID. And then it had to do a lot of repricing quickly higher. Whereas this time around, I am looking, and this is my experience and intuition from being so long into the markets. And that's that you see that higher lows and higher highs that it keeps making. And the price here is clearly going to an exponential. It's starting a parabola, whereas in the past cycle, that was not the case, right from the bottom. I do hope you see that point. And to the diminishing return parts, I do agree with the fact of diminishing returns in as the market cap grows high. I do agree with that. But because there is a simple principle, obviously, the larger the market cap you get, the more money you need to make the multiples. So obviously, if we have gold being the largest market cap coin in coin asset in the world, it's like 11 trillion right now. Then obviously, you're not going to do multiple X's, right? And by the way, the largest asset by market capitalization is oil, obviously, but that one is not included in all of those asset market capitalizations anyway. But if we take the largest one, that's gold, and obviously it's going to be hard to make large returns on that one. But and that's the way why low cap coins will always outperform BTC at a certain time of the cycle, right? Not on the long term, because on the long term they will be trending towards that bottom right corner, right? But yeah, that was just to understand the market cap part in that regard. So I do agree with that, Max, on the diminishing cycle theory. That's logical. What I do not agree on is that like just like I do not agree with that we're going to keep getting the same cycles every 4 year for eternity. The same way I do not agree that we will keep getting lower percentages drops and lower percentages returns on the upside, because well, maybe on the drops, but definitely not on the upside, because you have to take into account, again, what I said before, the current world market conditions and the conditions based on the asset. So, and by the way, you have now the perfect sentiment for it as well, to not follow that path this time around. And by the way, we have seen that with other assets in the past, where if they hit a specific conditions, they can do way better. And I do believe we are heading into those conditions right now, because everyone is now positioned to believe that this cycle we will get diminishing returns. Everyone is ready to sell BTC at 80 to 90K, or maybe at 100K maximum, because everyone's believing that. And what I think is going to happen at that time is everyone's going to sell and then buy back way higher. That's just from the sentiment part. But from the adoption part, why we will not have diminishing return this cycle, in my opinion, is because we are getting to a stage from going from early adopters or early innovators, whatever is that S-curve adoption cycle. So we are getting to the early majority cycle, where we will start to get the adoption from like 5 to 10%. That's very like data-based thing, what I'm talking about here, that the current participation of people in the world is around 5 to 10% in crypto. So this is going to go from that 5 to 10% to about 90 in this decade. And that's why I think, and by the way, I'm still expecting a huge QE to come in, and other aspects, which I think is going to make this cycle once again being a larger percentage return than the prior one. And there are other aspects too, but and obviously we cannot say that in like ahead of time. Obviously, we have to get proven by time, but I do hold lots of strong probabilities for this outcome.
Yeah, I want to address a lot of your points, and
Yeah.
I partially agree with you, Jack. Actually, first let me thank Todd Alquist. Thank you, man, for the $10 tip. Todd says I wouldn't have been buying ETH in the low 2Ks without you guys. Thanks for all the alpha. Todd, thanks for tuning in, man. It's heartwarming to know that we made a difference, because that's why we show up every single day. So thank you for that, Todd. Very, very kind. I do agree with you. I mean, this chart, right? We only have 2 data points of diminishing returns. I don't think it should be faded, but when I listen to you talk and I really try to hear you, let's do this. Let me pull up something like NVIDIA, right? This is a prime example of what you're talking about, where we're not seeing diminished returns to the downside or to the upside, right? We're not,
Yeah.
but we are seeing the dips become shallower, so this is in log, by the way. Look at this chart, right? You're not seeing diminished returns to the upside, but the dips are shallower than they used to be. So prime example here for NVIDIA is we had a 85% correction here, and we had a 90% correction here.
People they're not going to get it, Max. I know
following
exactly
through here, 50% drop or whatever, but we're seeing comparable
Do the
gains.
last one. Do the last one.
Yeah, do the last one.
Okay. I was just going to highlight some of these before I get too far ahead.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was your dip. That was your generational dip that nobody's willing to understand.
So,
but like where I'm going with this is like Jackus is actually right to suggest that like this could in fact be correct, where we don't get diminished returns to the upside, but volatility is more muted to the downside, and that could be where crypto's headed. Is that our next bear market for ETH or Bitcoin could be instead of 80% down, we could only go down 50 or 60% down, but we still make 10, 20, 30x in bull markets, just like tech stocks have been doing. That happens. This is a prime example of that.
I mean, this is a prime example of both scenarios. So I also do believe that we will get it will depend on the upside, right? As well, and on the future conditions, which we do not know right now. And that's why I'm saying that I do agree with the fact that, once again, you have the market capitalization of a certain asset, whatever that asset is, and the larger it grows, the harder it is to make those multiples on both the downside and the upside. But if certain conditions align, you can still get, and we've seen that on the NVIDIA chart, that you can still get a larger downside that you got in the prior move, and you can as well get a larger upside than you got in the prior move. And that's very important to understand for crypto. Otherwise, if you that's what I'm trying to say, guys, these 4-year cycles in crypto, they will not be playing for eternity. They simply won't. There is nothing that keeps on happening forever.
Well, the way I look at it more, Jack, is not really about the halving, but the one thing I've always pointed out is more about the presidential elections, and how when you have, especially when you have a president that's looking for a second term, and another president that's probably looking for a second term, and a bunch of presidents that are looking for a first term. In those scenarios, you've got the perfect storm for them to do whatever they can, even at a loss, to prop these markets and force them to the upside to make this environment, economic environment, look a lot more bullish than what it actually is. And we are very understanding of that here at BB. Like, we understand what's going on. We're just not going to be one of the sideline oars sitting here crying how this shouldn't be happening, and throwing ourselves on the floor and throwing a fit while
Yeah.
pooping our diapers. We're going to be sitting here bidding part of the market and playing the upside of what the manipulation is. This is what intelligent people do. Intelligent people, they come in and they bid markets when they see opportunity. Unintelligent people sit on the sideline and cry about it and complain and try to make up things that never happened.
Well
Is
said.
anyone seeing this?
I do.
I'm just having a little fun. It's just where my head went.
Imagine if like ETH now goes to like a million. That's basically what this chart is saying.
Dude, imagine. Let's just have a little more fun here.
Now listen, what we were just discussing this whole time. So we are making money. The question is, will we make lots of money or even like mega lots more money, right? And then you decide to play it left curve, right? So like, all right, free cycle still working. I'm playing it right now. How much is that?
How's the likes looking?
This
real
is
quick?
like $21 million or something like that. Let me see.
No problem.
Yeah,
That's
Jack.
ba-
ETH the 21 million.
It's
Matt-
bearish
Matt-
propaganda.
Max, how are the likes looking on the
Likes are
video?
looking great today, Will.
What are we at?
We're at 122, man. Killing it today.
Oh, I said 100. So I'll give out the info real quick. So I took a long position, roughly around 33.
Well. Before you cook, okay. So you can share the chart. You can tell me it. And second, we gotta raise that like limit now. All
Well,
right.
that's for your alpha. That's for your alpha.
All right.
You run it up to 200. I ran it to 100. I'm actually not in front of a chart real quick, but I took a look. If you could pull up AVAX real quick, everybody's hated coin. Everybody hates this coin. I love it.
Dude,
The more
are you
people that hate
actually,
it, the
as
more
a
bullish
man,
I am.
are you as a man asking me to pull up AVAX?
AVAX is one of those coins, man, where even when you bull post it, you still love to FUD it.
Yeah,
Dude. All right, Tommy, I'll make a deal. I'll pull up AVAX for Will, but you have to FUD it incessantly once I pull it up, all right?
Oh man, Wabi would FUD it way harder.
Oh yeah,
way
Wabi
harder than I
would
would.
destroy it.
What, Tommy, I have a question for you, man. What's more fun to FUD, ETH or AVAX?
Oh,
That's a tough one.
Probably ETH, which is funny because I think it looks a lot more bullish than AVAX, but I like to FUD ETH just because people get way more butthurt over when you FUD ETH versus like FUDing their shitcoin, just because it's like ETH is 4 or 5 years entrenched at this point, at least. I mean, and more like 8 years at this point. let me rephrase. Yeah, I mean, it's like very heavily entrenched. The community is very heavily entrenched and sometimes just a little bit sensitive. I remember going back and forth with a lot of diehard Ethereans back when Avalanche was popping off, when Solana was popping off in 2021. That was when the Layer 1 trade was really getting started. And, as somebody who has used Ethereum a lot, I also recognize that it has a lot of issues. So I like to FUD it, but I also recognize that when ETH gets going, I mean, ETH on chain is kind of like my bread and butter. So
Listen,
Yeah.
guys, I gotta stop you both before Will starts cooking. The most fun thing to FUD out of the majors is definitely Sol, because AVAX and Ether, those people have already been through cycles. They know what is the pain, right? They can take it. But the
now
Sol
put
guys,
that back on, Max. Go ahead and
that's where-
continue though.
that's where all the apes are right now on Sol. That's all the new money. They'll be chasing like And
I ate the
Cardano
new
is the
Soul
same
shitcoin
as
to
ETH.
rug within like a day.
Yeah.
What about XRP, man? XRP is pretty fun to FUD.
Look, we're
No,
not even
it's
gonna.
not because the people just, they do not care anymore. It's nobody cares about XRP.
I have to
Max.
admire the dedication of the XRP community.
By the way, I'm getting long on XRP just to be clear.
You hit the nail on the head there, Max, with that line. I love it. I'm glad we're in tune here. I'm glad we're in tune. That is exactly what I'm seeing. And so if you put it back on the higher time frame, I would argue this is your breakout. This is where you're going to move up. And if you set your low body position candle, roughly around, let me see where that number is. Your next, or actually take the line from the flush just above where we are, all the way to the left shoulder.
Here,
Up one more.
one more to the left.
Yeah, that you could take that, or to the body,
Up here.
Yeah. So like you've got these two positions you could be targeting here. I would say dial out halfway and then take the low here, because you're probably going to hesitate at that low, right? But you're going to fill that whole flush. You could technically keep this long open the entire time, but I'm not going to be extra greedy, right? And so looking at AVAX, and if you were to pull a soul chart up beside that there, Max, like it's almost like ETH the Bitcoin. Is AVAX the soul?
I think we are all coping on Tron.
Man,
Why?
I was looking at Tron just randomly a few
You
weeks
see
ago.
the long fill?
The
Oh, sorry.
volume on
Sorry,
that
Tommy.
was so high. Just randomly, the volume was crazy high on Tron, and then I looked at the high time frame chart and I was like, damn, that looks really good. But I also just couldn't justify allocating to Tron over the new coins because I mean, how big is Tron? Like 5 or 6 billion still, so there's not quite as much upside.
Highlight that same flush there on Soul, Max, if you could.
Yeah. Give me a second. Let me just get these adjusted.
You see what I mean? This looks dead on how basically Ethereum lagged Bitcoin and then Ethereum caught up. And the chart pattern is so similar. It's so similar here.
I mean, some notable differences here, Will, just to be fair, is like these were definitely disjointed, right? And like look at how much lower Soul's complacency shoulder was. So AVAX is here, and I'll make this
That's why I targeted the low though versus the high.
Like there are some Soul's bear market was a lot different than AVAX's. Where I mean, if you look where Soul put in this complacency shoulder, look how much lower it was than AVAX. That's a big difference.
I understand that, and the point that I wanted to get to though here is if you look at the current chart pattern on the right hand side, both of them are identical, right? A flush doesn't have to match a flush percentage for percentage, and arguably the thing that I was looking at is that yes, you were a lot more, I would say, oversold on Soul than you were on AVAX, but AVAX arguably is also very undersold in comparison to its all-time high. I mean, the flush on AVAX is massive. That's a massive drop. Like, at least Soul saw some bounces here. AVAX came down and got wrecked.
Let's look at the AVAX Soul pair. That's all that we really need to know. So obviously, guys, what this means is that when the chart's doing this and it's bleeding down, this is AVAX denominated in Solana. So Solana is going to be a better hold when the chart does this. And if the chart moves back up, then that means that AVAX is a better hold than Soul. So I don't know. I mean, I could see a case for a bottom here. I mean,
it's a higher low position against Soul. You've already filled the low. You actually deviated.
I could see
Below
this
the
being
low.
a range low right here. It would, I mean, I would have to buy AVAX, which would be tough to stomach, but I mean, I could see this being.
Can't buy
If
AVAX,
you're
man.
AVAX, would you rather buy Sol or would you rather buy AVAX? And I say that also from the standpoint that both from, you can hold your Sol and probably have more opportunity immediately on chain versus AVAX, where, there's probably only about 1 or 2 shit coins on AVAX every time that it pumps.
But that's why I took the
I'd
low.
probably rather buy Sol, man. But that doesn't mean that AVAX won't pump.
AVAX, the suits love AVAX for whatever reason, man. So it definitely will pump.
That's my point, Tommy. And you understand that. I think not a lot of people do. Is that banks, all your big money or CEOs? I don't know what they see in this company or in this coin, but they seem to want to back it. They seem to want to back it, even though there's nothing on the ecosystem. I completely agree, and that's why I took the leverage position versus the spot position, because I don't see any opportunity with holding the token and utilizing it on their chain. But I do see the opportunity for a leverage position, which allows me to kind of act as if I'm on their chain, leveraging it against one of their, lower cap shit coins or whatever.
It does kind of seem like there are 2 different types of shitcoin devs, and that is, you have the guys who give the middle finger to the suits, and then you have the guys who are doing everything they can to cooperate and try to be, like an Avalanche, for example, or, I imagine you probably see some of these companies start to buddy up so that they can eventually take their equity public or cash out through ETFs.
Oh, he Tommied me. Well,
Man,
Jackass, you just Tommied me. I saw that.
Yeah, but the point
That's just
being
a
here
hint.
is that I'm not trying to convince people to get into AVAX or love AVAX. I'm just giving you guys my position that I took based on the chart. Has nothing to do with is AVAX the future of finance, or is it not a shit coin? It has to do more with the setup. The setup looks good, looks clean. I'm expecting this thing to run, so I'm taking along on this position.
Well, Will, it's going to
Which
be
of course
tough
I
to
can't.
convince me to love it. So,
Well, which again goes back to the point that I can't dump on anybody with a long position other than the exchange, of course. So I'm taking that position.
this whole idea of like dumping on people is so ridiculous in crypto, man. Like, everybody dumps on everybody. Like, the problem is if you intentionally mislead people. Like, I'm planning to dump my Bitcoin at 200K, which somebody will be buying it, and it'll probably be close to the
Oh no,
top.
Max,
You
you're
know?
dumping on me.
Like,
It's about Max. It's about so again, dumping Bitcoin is just silly, man. Like if you are dumping Bitcoin on someone, that's just mean. But if you are promoting a low cap shitcoin on a
Yeah.
DEX, then you are dumping on someone, of course. If
Yeah.
if you are using your followers as an exit liquidity, you promote a coin to pump it up and then you unload, then you are dumping. But dumping AVAX or Bitcoin, man, unless you are like freaking country, then you are not dumping on anyone, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, Will's gonna dump his AVAX on us. It's like, dude, Will can't fucking move the chart of AVAX, like the multi-billion-dollar chart. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous, man. Yeah, I'm gonna dump all of my 100 billion plus market cap coins on somebody at the top. If that's even dumping on somebody, like, it's trading. It's a zero-sum game. Like, just to like be totally honest, guys. Like, I know it's fun to be like, we're all gonna make it. Like, we're not all gonna make it. Hopefully you guys listening do, but not everybody makes it. That's just like bullish propaganda to suck people in so they never sell. Like, somebody has to buy the top or close to the top. So when people start coming out saying we're all gonna make it, like you're not. I wish it could be that way, but that's just not investing. That's not trading. So nobody's dumping on anybody in a malicious way here. But yeah, like, we'll be on here on YouTube doing it publicly. Like, I'm gonna be here being like, yep, guys, I'm de-risking. We're getting to that point. And then someone's going to go and be like, you're dumping on all of your followers. Oh my gosh. And I'll be like, yeah, no, that's true. I'm like dumping all of my crypto because I'm up like 10,000% in like a year. but I'm here doing it publicly, telling you I'm de-risking. And people are still going to get butthurt about it because they want to believe that it just goes up forever, but things never go up forever. Sell it, buy your wife a nice bracelet, buy your wife a house, take care of your family. You know, you don't want to be a bag holder of something forever, guys.
Did you see this comment, Max?
Some are gonna make it.
Some will make it.
I mean, that's true, Y2 janitor, man. It's true. And if you guys
Also-
being here watching the show, you have a pretty good chance of making it, honestly. But this is still like a niche channel. We have less than 5,000 subs on YouTube. Not many people know about us yet. You know, we're not like your normal influencers. Like, we don't need to be here doing this. We just do it because we love it. We're all full-time traders. Like, none of us are here to like make money. You know how many times we get offered like $10,000 to do some shill video and we just reject everybody? There's a reason we don't do that. Like, we've been offered $10,000 to do a Twitter space before talking about some meme coin, and we just turned it down. We never we had one over the weekend. I'm not going to call them out here, but somebody from some new shitcoin project wanted to pay us, you know, a bunch of money to do a shill, and we just don't even respond to them. We're just like, no, we're not doing it. You know, we don't need to do that shit. Like, we're all successful traders. So like, yeah, you're gonna get it honestly here, guys. We're gonna tell you exactly what's going on and how we're gonna see it. I hope so, man. I hope so. My wife wants a house, man. I've got an 8-month-old. We're living in a nice apartment right now, but she's like, I want a house, you know. I gotta make it, man. Mama needs a house, so we gotta make it.
Max,
Yeah.
if you're ever in the market and you're in the position to where you've made enough money to change your life, I would always tell people to take it.
Yeah.
And that's not financial advice; it's just reality. Like, always take the opportunity that can change your life. Never get too greedy in these markets. We try not to be here. Try to be as humble as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of great points. So, guys, here's the thing. I came on here excited to talk about Pepe today, and I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm not going to do it. The reason I'm not going to do it is because I just posted a 10-minute max video talking about Pepe. It covers everything that I would say right here. So what you can do is you can go right after the stream ends. You can go to our video. It's up right now. Ed just messaged me. It's up. You can go to our YouTube, which you're on right now, and you can watch 10 minutes max, which is Monday through Friday. I drop videos no longer than 10 minutes. Where basically I just drop alpha for 10 minutes, give you everything you need to know. We talked about Pepe. So I'm not going to talk about Pepe here because I just did that video and it's up right now. But with that said, I actually think this is where we should call it. And then everybody can go watch that video. So guys, thank you so much for being here. This is Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. If you have not yet, please consider liking and also subscribing. This was our biggest audience ever, guys. Thank you so much. We are so appreciative of your guys' overwhelming support on a day-to-day basis. Seriously, it's really cool to see. So please consider liking and subscribing and sharing the video if you haven't yet. Again, hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. Also, check out the first link in the description below. That will take you to our website where you can browse our premium services. Right now, it's just a kick-ass Discord. We do 2 hours a day of private live voice calls with the entire team and community. If you want to see behind the curtain, if you want to see our active positions, all of our setups and premium analysis that we don't talk about here on YouTube or on X, consider joining the Discord sooner rather than later, because in less than 60 days, when our new flagship product called the BB Terminal drops, which is basically a Bloomberg terminal, but for crypto guys, when that drops, it's going to be bundled together with the Discord. The price of the Discord is going to go up probably about 3x. All right. So if you get in right now, it's $150 a month. You will absolutely see and benefit immediately from the value that is provided in that Discord. You're going to be very thankful that you got in now rather than after the terminal drops, because again, when the terminal drops, prices are going to go up dramatically. So click the first link in the description below. Go to the website, read our reviews, sign up, guys. If you guys are in the comments right now and you guys are in our group, we already have like close to 200 members. Let them know, guys. Let them know how much you love it. We greatly appreciate that. But seriously, guys, like, people come and they stay because it's $150 a month. You'll pay for it in like no time. I mean, seriously, it's I don't even know how else to put it because it sounds just like shilly, like sign up for our paid group, but it's literally it's fantastic, guys. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, you just have to try it. This isn't some weird like shilly signals group. Like, we just absolutely kill it, and we just share everything that we're doing, all of our setups, and again, people love it. So check it out. First link in the description below. And also, I mean, how cool. You guys get in now and you're getting airdropped the BB terminal. You know, you're going to get airdropped the BB terminal in 2 months. How cool is that? It's going to be part of your membership, and prices are going to go up. It's the only guaranteed 3x in all of crypto is getting in now before the price of our services go up, and you're going to want to use it. But anyways, I'm going to kick it over to Tommy. He can say a final farewell. But yeah, again, guys, thanks for the overwhelming support. It's heartwarming.
Yeah, thanks, Max. Another great show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Wrapping up your Monday morning or afternoon or evening, who knows, wherever you are scattered across the globe. But as always, guys, we appreciate your continued support of our brand, like Max said. And real quickly, before we end the show, I want to touch on the timing of our programs. Market Check, as always, will return tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We are live every single weekday, and a reminder that there is no second best daily YouTube live stream, live show to talk about these markets. Additionally, our flagship show, Market Talk, which is a Twitter space, is live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday around 4:15 to 4:30 Eastern Time start. And that's hosted by King Wabi, who does a fantastic job. He has some really great guests on pretty much every day. And they talk all things markets, from meme coins, AI tokens to equities, rates, and everything in between. But yeah, it's a great time over there. But that's all from us, guys. Like I said, we'll see you tomorrow for another great show, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks again.